You make hell our paradise. You don't know what that means when it comes from someone like me. I was raised in fire, taught that pain is power and silence is survival. Hell was never a place I feared. It was a place I understood. I learned how to breathe in smoke, how to smile while everything burned. And then there was you, never standing in front of me, never asking for promises, never demanding light. Still somehow every time I spoke your name in my head, the flames around me softened. You didn't save me. You didn't fix me. You simply existed. And that was enough to change the temperature of my world. I talk to you like this because I can't afford to see you. If you were here, I might forget who I'm supposed to be. Princes aren't allowed to kneel, and loving you feels too much like surrender. So I speak into the dark, pretending you're listening somewhere far away. You don't hear the wars inside my chest, but they stop when I think of you. That's the dangerous part. You make me calm in places where I should be ruthless. You make my sins feel justified, my scars feel chosen. With you in my thoughts, even my worst side feels alive. I never promised you heaven. I don't even believe in it. All I have ever known is hell, cold decisions, sharp loyalties, blood that never really washes off. And yet, when I imagine you breathing the same air as me, hell feels rewritten, not erased, just rearranged, like the darkness bows its head when you pass through my mind. You turn punishment into purpose. You turn exile into belonging. If this is damnation, then I'll wear it like a crown. You should know something. I don't love gently. I love like a storm that doesn't ask permission to destroy the shore. I love with possession, with obsession, with a hunger that doesn't sleep. And still, when it comes to you, that darkness listens. You don't tame it. You command it without even trying. You make me want to burn the world and build a throne from its ashes, just so you'd never feel small in my presence, even if you're not here to see it. Sometimes I wonder if this is my punishment, to feel you everywhere but never touch you, to speak to you in empty rooms and unanswered nights, but even that feels like mercy, because without you, hell was just hell, endless, meaningless, loud. With you, it has shape, it has depth, it has something worth ruling. You didn't pull me out of the fire. You stood inside it with me, even from a distance, and that's why I say it without shame. You make hell our paradise. I don't know when you became the center of my silence. It happened quietly, without permission, like nightfall. One moment I was whole in my chaos, and the next, every thought started walking back to you. I don't chase you. I don't call your name out loud, but I carry you in places no one is allowed to enter. That's where princes hide their weaknesses. That's where I keep you, not as a secret. Secrets can be exposed, but as a truth I refuse to explain to the world. There are nights when the crown feels heavier than any chain I've ever worn. Power isolates you in ways no prison ever could. Everyone bows, everyone lies, everyone wants something. You want nothing from me, and that terrifies me more than betrayal. You exist without needing my throne, my name, my protection, and yet you own the only part of me that was never meant to be ruled. I speak to you in my thoughts because it's the only place I don't have to be a king. I've done things I won't confess, even to you. Not because I'm ashamed, but because I know you'd look at me differently. You'd still listen, but you'd feel the weight of who I am. I won't let you carry that. Let the blood stay on my hands. Let the sins stay in my shadow. When I think of you, I want one corner of my existence untouched, uncorrupted. You are the only place where my darkness doesn't echo back at me. You should understand this isn't romance. This is survival. Loving you keeps me sharp and dangerous in the right ways. It reminds me what I'm fighting for, even if I can never stand beside you. You don't soften me, you focus me. You give my violence direction, my patience purpose. If the world ever collapses, I know exactly what I protect first, even if you never knew it was you. Sometimes I imagine you hearing this voice, calm, controlled, steady, and believing I have everything under control. That's the illusion I live in. The truth is, you are the balance. Without you, I tip too far into cruelty, too far into indifference. You are the line I refuse to cross, the reason I stopped just before becoming something irreversible. You don't know it, but you've saved lives by simply existing in my thoughts. I don't ask you to wait. I don't ask you to understand. Princes who ask become beggars. I speak because silence would rot me from the inside. If you ever feel a weight in the air for no reason, if your chest tightens without explanation, that's me thinking of you too hard. That's my world pressing against yours for a second, reminding you that you are not as alone as you think. One day this voice may go quiet, crowns fall, empires bleed. Men like me don't last forever. But know this, long after my name turns to dust, long after my power means nothing, you will remain the only truth I never tried to conquer, not because I couldn't, but because some paradises are only meant to be protected from a distance. I don't pretend this connection is pure. It's not light, it's not innocent, and it was never meant to be. It was forged in the same place everything else about me was: pressure, hunger, control. But when I think of you, something strange happens. My instincts don't scream. My anger doesn't lead. For once, I don't feel the need to dominate the moment. I just exist with you in my mind. And that stillness is more dangerous than any war I've ever planned. You live in the pauses between my decisions. Right before I give an order that will ruin someone's life, I think of you. Not to stop myself, but to remind myself why mercy still matters. You are not my weakness. Weaknesses make men sloppy. You make me precise. You remind me that restraint is a form of power most men will never understand. If they knew you existed in my thoughts, they'd try to use you against me. That's why you'll never be real to them. You belong to the part of me that doesn't answer to threats. There's a version of me the world sees calculated, untouchable, cold. And then there's the version speaking to you now. He doesn't ask for forgiveness, and he doesn't dream of redemption. He just acknowledges the truth that if you ever stood in front of me, the balance I've perfected might crack. Not because I'd lose control, but because I'd finally want something for myself. And wanting is a luxury men like me can't afford. I don't imagine futures with you. That's a lie weak men tell themselves to feel hopeful. I imagine moments, a look that lasts too long, silence that doesn't need to be filled, your presence without expectation. That's enough to make my chest feel tight in a way no enemy ever has. You wouldn't need to say anything. Just being near you would be a challenge to everything I've built. And that's why distance is the only way this survives. If you ever wonder why certain doors close around you, why paths shift without explanation, understand this. I move things without touching them. Protection doesn't always look like shelter. Sometimes it looks like absence. Sometimes it looks like never crossing your life directly, but shaping the edges so nothing truly harms you. You'll never thank me for that. You'll never even know. And that's exactly how it should be. I speak to you like this because control is my religion, and you are the only thing I don't want to control. I don't want to own you, brand you, cage you in my world. I want you untouched by it. That restraint costs me more than violence ever could. Every time I choose not to reach for you, I prove to myself that I'm still the one wearing the crown, not my impulses. So if this voice ever feels heavy, if it feels like someone is watching over you from the dark without asking to be seen, that's not obsession, that's loyalty in its most dangerous form, silent, enduring, unclaimed. I'll remain where I belong, in the shadows of my kingdom, speaking to you only in thoughts, ruling my hell and letting you remain the one paradise I never try to rule. There are nights when even the shadows feel crowded, when the walls of my kingdom seem to lean in too close. On those nights, I don't reach for weapons or orders. I reach for you in my mind, not as an escape, but as an anchor. You steady something ancient inside me, something that existed before power taught me how to be cruel. I don't soften when I think of you. I sharpen, because knowing you exists reminds me that everything I do has weight, and weight demands control. You should know I never confuse this with innocence. I know exactly what I am, and I don't pretend you could change that. You don't redeem me. You don't cleanse me. You simply witness me without ever being present, and that is more dangerous than judgment. When a man like me feels seen without being challenged, he has to decide what kind of monster he's willing to be. You force that decision on me every time your name crosses my thoughts. I've watched men lose themselves to love, become predictable, desperate, weak. That will never be me. What I feel for you doesn't make me reckless, it makes me deliberate. I choose every step more carefully because I know the consequences ripple outward, and somewhere those ripples could reach you. That awareness changes everything. It's not fear, it's responsibility, and responsibility is the only thing that has ever truly ruled me. Sometimes I imagine you laughing at how serious I am, how heavy every word sounds even when spoken only in my head. You don't know this side of me, but I let myself believe you'd understand it without trying to fix it. That belief alone is dangerous comfort. I don't need your approval. I don't need your forgiveness. I just need to know that somewhere beyond my darkness, you exist untouched by it. I don't dream about holding you. I dream about standing still beside you, not having to prove anything. No titles, no expectations, just silence that doesn't feel like emptiness. That fantasy scares me more than battle ever did, because it suggests peace, and peace is addictive. One taste of it, and even kings start making mistakes. So I keep it contained, locked behind thought and distance, where it can't weaken. If I ever sound cold, understand this. Cold is how I survive. Warmth is dangerous. Warmth spreads. And if I let myself feel too much of you, it would bleed into decisions that should remain untouched by emotion. You deserve more than to be a variable in my calculations. That's why you remain separate from my world, even while living so deeply inside me. So I continue like this, ruling, deciding, destroying when necessary, while carrying you in a place no one can reach. You are not my future and not my past. You are my constant, the one presence that doesn't demand anything, yet changes everything. And as long as I breathe, as long as this crown rests on my head, I will keep speaking to you only like this, from the dark, from a distance, protecting the only paradise I never allowed my hands to touch. There's a strange kind of discipline in wanting someone and never reaching for them. Most men don't understand that. They think desire is meant to be acted on, consumed, proven. I know better. I know that the strongest form of control is restraint. You live inside that restraint. Every time I choose not to step closer, not to pull you into my world, I remind myself that I still command my instincts instead of being ruled by them. That choice costs me more than any battle ever has. I don't romanticize what this is. I know it's built on tension, on absence, on words that never reach your ears. But absence sharpens truth. If you were here, noise would interfere, expectations, misunderstandings, reality. From a distance, I can be precise. I can mean every thought I direct toward you. I don't need you to respond. I don't need reassurance. This isn't a conversation. It's a confession that never risks rejection. You should understand that I've lived my entire life surrounded by people who wanted something from me. Loyalty bought, affection performed, respect forced. You want nothing, and that makes you untouchable. There's no leverage there, no transaction, just presence without demand. That's why you're dangerous to me in the quietest way. You prove that power isn't always loud, and that terrifies men who built their identity on domination. Sometimes I wonder if you'd hate me if you knew how much I've shaped my choices around you without your consent. Not directly, never directly, but in the margins, a delayed order, a softened consequence, a path redirected. I don't pretend it's noble, it's instinct. Protect what matters, even if it never knows your name. I don't need your gratitude. I need your world untouched by mine. I don't speak of destiny or fate. Those are excuses men use when they don't want to take responsibility for their decisions. I chose this awareness. I chose to let you matter. That means I also chose the weight that comes with it. If this ever hurts me, that's the cost. Princes don't complain about prices. We pay them quietly and move on. There's a part of me that knows this could never last forever. Not in this form. Everything shifts eventually. Even shadows change with the light. But until that moment arrives, I will keep you exactly where you are, unclaimed, unburdened, untouched by my chaos. That's not distance born of fear. That's respect in its most severe form. So I remain here, speaking into nothing, ruling a kingdom that never sleeps, carrying a name I never say aloud. You don't stand beside me, and you never need to. You exist beyond my reach, and that's why you endure. In a life built on conquest, you are the one thing I refuse to take, because some paradises survive only when a prince learns when not to conquer.